Hello, folks. I'm Detroit Miracle. Yes, and indeed. Right now, I am here to have more cool comic book slash film slash story discussion fun. This such topic will be about great singer slash rock goddess named Pat Benatar. And I will also be comparing power levels for Pat Benatar in regards to her immense vocal talent, skill sets, and abilities. Okay, Pat Benatar, much like many other great artists that came before her and after her, had an early start initially. She was initially trained in classical music and theater because her vocal range as a soprano was incredibly high and gifted. So she went through the normal voice training, and in part due to the fact that her mother was also a classical trained opera singer. So maybe the mother wanted her daughter to follow in her footsteps. Apparently, Pat Benatar had the same or similar vocal talents as her mother, in which she could reach the same ranges of sounds, of course. Indeed. So she went through musical theater. She was an opera singer who was well trained in that. But later on, of course, she would transition into rock and roll and become the queen of rock and roll, so to speak. She was a pioneer for MTV because they originally played most of her videos when they first started. So she helped push MTV to where it would become eventually, of course. So, okay, so she did the singing, the classical thing for quite some time, and then she transitioned into full on rock and roll after she caught her big break, of course. But initially, she didn't go into a solo career because she joined a group or a band and sung in cabarets and in nightclubs, of course. And then when her big break happened, she took it, and then a star was born. In the late 70s, she released her debut album, which was, of course, a major hit. And of course, MTV helped her gain more enormous fame because millions of people tuned in part because she made stellar videos and amazing hit records at that particular time, which seen her rise in the late 70s and carry on into the 1980s, 90s, and then on. She ended up releasing at least 11 studio albums, a lot of compilation albums, and other types of albums over the course of her career that went at least 4 decades, of course. She didn't stop at music once she obtained all that she gained from music, such as selling more than 36 million albums globally and touring on stage thousands of times. Yes, she appeared in concerts and did stage performances that added up to thousands, of course. And she eventually went and did a stage play, or she wrote or produced a stage play, of course. She then, of course, wrote her own best-selling memoir book, which was a New York Times bestseller, of course. And she didn't stop at that endeavor either. She went into films and TV programs eventually, as she made appearances in motion pictures and films. She appeared as herself or took on fictional roles for those characters, of course. Now, let me do the power levels comparable for Pat Benatar, the queen of rock and roll, as I would call her. She's a powerful soprano mezza that has a vocal range of 4.5. She's a tireless, powerful stage performer who, of course, has did and performed in more than thousands of stage shows globally, if you could believe that. Of course, she's a powerful pioneer in the music industry with that of course, showcased her own signature styles of singing and performing, of course. And she's an overall great entertainer, musician, of course. All right, let me know how you feel about this one. Indeed.